Hi, I wanted to make a quick video that explains how to use the Sphero Bolt in the app, in case your teacher's not right there to explain it or wants you to watch this instead. So if you go to a school iPad that has this loaded, you'll notice the Sphero Edu icon, my lonely one in the upper left hand corner. That's what you're looking for. If you can't find it on the iPad, you can put your finger in the middle and drag down to get the search bar and type in Sphero, or even SPH would probably work, and hit search, and you should be able to find it that way. And so I'm going to click that app to open it up, and you may find that someone's logged in before. So if you get a screen like this that says hello Igor, so looks like Igor didn't bother signing out. Punk. Alright, upper left hand corner, there's a little kind of the classroom door with an arrow, so if you want to leave, you press that button there. Leave your class, go. This is the screen that we're trying to get at. If it's your first time in the app, instead of there, you'll probably see this here when you open up the app. And it says, I'm a school user or I'm a home user. You are using it at school. So you want to press the purple bar with I'm a school user. And I would guess most teachers, I know I have set up classes for people. So under students, you have join your class. The teacher should have a 6-digit code that they can give you. So I'm going to type in the code from one of my classes and type that in. Now the mistake people are making on this screen is I find they're selecting their name and they're typing in first name, last initial, but it says or there. So first thing, I would just hit select your name, and we're going to go down here and I'm going to log into Edgar's account. And so I hit enter. Note I did not also type in the name. Okay, so here then, Edgar, teachers may have assigned a whole bunch of different things. That's what these are, different activities that the teacher could assign for you to do, in which case they would have told you probably the name of it and do one of those. But before we get into those, I want to actually connect a robot. In the upper right hand corner, there's the little Sphero icon and kind of what's going to be a battery symbol right below my percent in that 100%. So if I select that thing there, the models we have so far here at school are the second option, the Sphero Bolt. So if you select that, it's going to look for robots. Now it might be a little tricky, as I know we have 3 so far and we may end up getting more, so you have to figure out which robot is the one that you are going to use. So if you take your iPad and put it close enough to the robot that you want and maybe further away from the other robots, it should give you more power signal. So I must have this bottom one, the SBD242, so I'm going to select that one. Don't take over control of other people's robots, that's me. And when you do that, the light should come on the robot that you're using, and it says it's connected. Okay, then in the upper right hand corner you can see the battery power, so this has full charge. Now when you're running programs, sometimes it's nice to bring the robot back to you, and maybe the very first thing you'll do is just drive it around a little bit. So there's this icon in the very bottom left that says drive. I'm going to select that. And I can drive by moving this blue thing around here. And if you do this, you may find it's not going the direction you're telling it to go. And that's because it's not aimed in the direction that your iPad is. So I'm going to take my robot here, and in the lower left I have aim. I'm going to press the aim. You should see a blue light appear near the edge of your robot, and you want that light to be down on the iPad. So right now I have my iPad pointed towards the front of the room. And when I click that aim thing, I want the blue light to be at the back of the room. This way, when I take and write a program or tell it to drive somewhere, it's going to go the right direction. If you're sending it on a long distance program, the more accurate you aim it is going to be by far the best. That's why I did it a few times. So this here controls the speed of the robot. And now when I tell it to go forward, it should drive forward. As you're walking around, make it go forward a little faster. As you're walking around, if you tip your iPad to point in a different direction, or if say you hit a wall and it gets kind of messed up the direction, you may have to re-aim it. This kind of compass icon between the speed and the drive thing, so this right there, will auto aim it. I haven't had as good a luck with that as manually doing it, but you're welcome to play with that. This thing here controls the colors of the matrix, all those little dots of color on the top, and you can control the brightness with this slider here on the bottom. Okay, so now what do we have in here? So these are places where your teacher can load up activities. I'll come right back to that in a second. As you start doing programs, you can hit this create a program. Programs that you've already made are saved. So that's why it's good to log in as yourself, because it'll save your work. That's one of the reasons. The teacher shares a program with you, it'll show up here. Or if you share programs with classmates, it'll show up there. Going back to the activities, teachers can dump activities into a thing for their class. And a lot of these will be used to like learn stuff or give you challenges to do. So there's this intro to the Sphero Edu. You could click that and that'll give you like a quick little how do you do some of this kind of stuff. There's 3 ways to program the Sphero. One is going to be drawing. So I'll click this one here. And so this activity is going to kind of teach me how to do that. So I'm going to select continue activity. As you go through, it'll give you instructions on how to do things. And your teacher may want you, when you're done, to mark that as complete. What I like about marking things as complete is then it kind of collapses that so you don't see it, and you can remember where you are in something. Now on the right hand side, I could create a program for this activity. I could click this, and I'm going to program with a drawing. The other type is blocks. That's the one I prefer, or text. I haven't messed around with that much, but this first one's is drawing, and then at the bottom you could pick your robots again, where you have Sphero Bolts here at school, and create. Now you'll notice the instructions are still on the left hand side, so the text is going to tell me what to do, but the video, if I play the video, many of these will have a video explaining it. So I can listen to the video and then do what it says. I can make it full screen if I want to see it a little bit better. But by doing that, let me make this smaller again. Sometimes it's nice to watch part of the video and then pause it and then do what it tells you to do. So you can take and kind of, for this one, draw the path you want the robot to go. To hit the green start at the top, will then run the program. You'll notice in the upper right hand corner, I have the aim thing again. You can conveniently re-aim your robot from here if you want to. And like I said, if you hit a wall and the orientation gets messed up, that's nice to do. And right next to that is the drive icon, so you can take and drive it back to you if your program doesn't get you right back to where you started. Then let me jump back out again. Blocks programming is probably what's going to be used more often. And this blocks 1 is the first thing to kind of teach you how to do it. This is much, much, much more powerful. So again, it goes through and explains kind of like this is how block programming kind of works. There's a video that explains it. You can hit create a program. Now I have the blocks selected there in the upper middle. In the Sphero Bolt, there's the lightning bolt. I hit create. How this works is all the options for the blocks are down here at the bottom. So I have a bunch of options for movement, that's the light blue. Once I get over to kind of this greenish, that's for the changing the lights. I can do sounds, but with this I can program it and roll 90 degrees, that's straight north on a compass. If I want it instead to go to the right, that's going to be 90 degrees. I'm going to have it go left because currently I have more room in this direction in my classroom. You could put in the speed. This is going to be in centimeters per second. So if you want it to go 70 centimeters, you could have it there. Okay, I want its speed to be 70. And I want it to, I have to do the back arrow I found here to delete what's there. I want it to go for 1 second. Now when I hit start, it should go 70 centimeters in that direction. If I want it to go 140 centimeters, I could do that same thing, but for 2 seconds. And now it'll do that when I hit start. It may be most convenient to have put it at 100, at least as close as I can get to it with my finger. That's kind of a pain. But now it'll go about the length of 1 meter stick every second. So if I hit start, it should go 2 meters off in that direction. Then I could bring up another one and tell it that I want it to roll a different direction. So maybe I have it do the same speed of 101 or something like that. 100 exactly, and I want it to come back, so then I would have 2 seconds. Now it's going to start where I just left it, but I could press start and it'll go about 2 meters one direction, and then should stop and then come back 2 meters the other way. With these, the live sensor data at the bottom will show you the graph of what it did. The extra little part was I had it do things before it did that last program, I believe. And all right, I'm going to stop my program. But I could pick that I want the main LED to be a certain color. You could have it do sounds, such as I want it to say I love science. One of my biggest disappointments is when you put an exclamation point after it. It doesn't make it sound really exciting. I love science. Okay, it just says I love science. The sound actually will come out of the iPad, but there's all these different things you can do. Controls, so you can do loops and have it when it hits something, something happens. But anyways, and the shortcuts are down here at the bottom if you want to slide back and forth. But I digressed a little. Your teacher will probably have in this activity some sort of challenge for you to do, or maybe they gave you a challenge, and then do that unless you're allowed to just kind of play around and to figure it out. So that's kind of the gist. I don't know if I showed this. Sorry, I've made this a couple times. If you need to re-aim, you could press that in the upper right-hand corner. If you need to drive it back, you can press that at any time and bring it back close to you. That's all for now. Let your teacher know what questions you may have. Thanks for watching.